All right, traders, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a really good trading week? Felt like you finally figured it out, and then the very next week it completely fell apart? And you couldn't explain why. Same market, same strategy, completely different results. If that sounds familiar, I want to talk to you about why that happens. Because consistency in trading is not about finding the right setup. It's about fixing the things underneath that most traders never look at. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 4 reasons most traders never get consistent and exactly what to do about each one. If you don't mind, take a second and hit the like button. It takes just a couple seconds on your part and it genuinely helps the channel. All right, let's get into it. Now, the first reason, and this one catches a lot of developing traders, it's that they don't have a written trade plan. They have an idea, they have a feeling, they've looked at a chart, and it looks good to them. But there's a big difference between this looks good and I know exactly what needs to happen before I get in, where I'm getting out if I'm wrong, and where I'm targeting if the trade goes in my favor. Without a written plan, every trade becomes a real time decision, and real time decisions get made under pressure with motions involved. That is not a repeatable process. You cannot build consistency on a foundation of, I'll figure it out when I get there. What I'm big on is knowing the plan before the market opens, not during, before. My entry trigger, my stop level, my target, it's written out. If a stock doesn't give me the trigger I wrote down, I don't take it, period. Because the moment I start improvising, I've left my process and I'm back to reacting. Here's why this matters more than you think. When you have a written plan, you also have something to review afterward. You can look back and say, did the setup trigger? Did I follow the plan? That feedback loop is what actually creates improvement over time. Without it, every week just feels random. All right, up next, reason number 2, and this one's painful because I see it constantly. It's strategy hopping. A trader finds a strategy, takes a few trades, has a losing streak, and immediately decides the strategy doesn't work. So they go find a new one, learn that one, have another losing streak, switch again. You know, no strategy works on every trade. Not mine, not anyone's. A good strategy has a win rate. Let's say 60 to 70%. That means 4 out of 10 trades lose. And if those 4 losing trades happen to cluster together, which they can, it feels like the strategy is broken. But that's just probability playing out. The problem is most traders quit before they give a strategy enough trades to see its actual edge. I'm not big on judging a strategy after 5 trades or even 10 trades. You need a minimum of 20 to 30 trades before you have any meaningful data on whether a strategy works. And during those 20 to 30 trades, you need to follow the rules exactly. Not kind of, exactly. Because if you're tweaking your rules in the middle of a losing stretch, you don't know if the strategy failed or if you failed the strategy. Consistency requires committing to a process long enough to actually learn from it. That's hard when you're losing, but that's exactly when it matters the most. All right, reason number 3, and this one quietly kills accounts that otherwise have decent setups. It's emotion-based position sizing. Here's what it looks like. You have a great week, 3 winners in a row, so you feel confident going into the next trade, and you size up. Maybe you even double your allocation amount. Then it loses, and it loses bigger because you were sized bigger. Now you're frustrated. So on the next trade, you go small, almost nothing, and it wins. But you barely made anything because you were scared, and the cycle keeps going. This thing just keeps going because the position size is reacting to emotion instead of following a rule. And when position sizing is emotional, your P&L swings are emotional too. What I do is I define my position size before I define anything else about a trade. I have an allocation amount that I am comfortable with emotionally and an allocation amount that if I take a complete loss, it will not wreck my trade. Even if I take 5 complete losses in a row, it will not wreck my account. That is very important. So before I enter any trade, I know the maximum allocation amount per trade. It's fixed, it's rule based, it's the same process every time. When your position sizing is consistent, your results start to become more consistent, even if your rate doesn't change. And the fourth reason, the one that ties everything together, is no trade journal, no feedback loop. You know, I cannot tell you how many traders are trying to improve their trading by memory alone. They remember the big winners and they try to forget the big losses, and everything in between just blurs together. This is not a feedback system. That's just hoping you naturally get better over time. A trade journal does not have to be complicated. I want you to record your emotions before the market ever opens each day. I want you to record each trade you take. What was the setup? What was your entry? Did you follow your rules? What was your stop and your target? What did the trade work or did it not work? That's it. 5 or 6 things. You can do this on a spreadsheet, on a piece of paper, on an online trading journal. It doesn't matter. But here's what happens when you track your trades consistently over a few months. Patterns emerge. You start to see which setups actually work for you and which ones you think work but don't. You see whether your losses are coming from bad setups or from not following your plan on good setups. Those are two completely different problems with two completely different solutions, and you cannot tell them apart without the data. All right, traders, so let's bring it together. 4 reasons most traders never get consistent. Number 1, no written trade plan. Fix it. Write the plan before the market opens every single time. Number 2, strategy hopping. Fix it. Commit to 20 to 30 trades before you evaluate anything. And number 3 is emotional position sizing. To fix it, you use a rule based sizing method. Take the decision out of your hands in the moment. And number 4, no trade journal. Track every trade. 5 or 6 things that I want you to write down. No exceptions. None of these are complicated, but most traders skip all 4 of them and then wonder why their results feel random. Consistency is not a talent, it is a system. Build the system. If this was helpful, make sure you're subscribed. I drop new content every week focused on helping you trade with structure and discipline. And let me know in the comments which of these 4 is the one you struggle with the most. I read every comment. All right, y'all. Have an awesome week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.